And this time, we're coming for the whole damn thing.
Don't miss the Morning Rush. Weekdays from 6 till 9. Only on ESPN 95.3.
You're born amazing. And at Baptist Health, we want to keep you that way. In fact, that's our mission. To not only provide the most skilled doctors and nurses to heal you from sickness or injury, and comprehensive care to support your recovery, but also to be your guide to health. Also, you can keep on inspiring, keep on reaching, and keep on amazing. For the care that keeps you amazing, visit Baptist-Health.com.
Looking for a new home course this golf season? Eagle Crest Golf Course has memberships as low as $83 a month for Zoysia fairways and bent grass greens. Is your whole golf group ready to join Eagle Crest? 4 new members can join for just $1,150 each for the entire year. Individual annual memberships are just $1,250 a year. Call Eagle Crest Golf Course right now for all the details. 632-8857. That's 632-8857. Eagle Crest Golf Course, Highway 64, just east of Alma.
Was your roof damaged by recent storms? Don't fall victim to out-of-town contractors and fly-by-night repairmen. Trust the local roofing professionals at Able Roofing. Call their local number, 474-0006, for a free roof inspection. Never trust something as important as the roofing system on your home to a storm chaser. Able Roofing, 474-0006, will work with your insurance company. Call now for your free roof inspection, 474-0006. Able Roofing, the hometown roofers.
Hi, I'm Kelly Smith, owner of Dixie Digital Imaging, the Xerox authorized agency and dealer in the River Valley. The 29 new models of Xerox business printers and copiers represent a quantum leap forward in office technology. They are designed for the way we work today, safely and securely. They're powered by Xerox Connect Key technology. They're innovative and affordable with both black and white and color devices available. For more information, give Dixie Digital a call at 783-6600 or visit us at dixiedigital.com. Dixie Digital Imaging, bringing Xerox document innovations to the River Valley.
The law offices of Andrea Stone Hanna, PLLC, are proud supporters of the Arkansas Razorbacks. Call them today before your soon-to-be ex does. Andrea Stone Hanna and David L. Powell promise to do whatever they can to assist and support you, your family, and your business when you face the toughest legal challenges you could possibly encounter. For divorce, custody, and all family law or criminal matters, call Andrea or David today at 479-242-5874 and request a consultation. Contact them today at AndreaHannahLaw.com or call 479-242-5874.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
Partly sunny sky, a few isolated showers or storms today. Our high this afternoon will be in the upper 70s north, middle 80s south. Mainly clear, low to mid 50s tonight, and then sunshine with us tomorrow. Mid 70s north, our high further south in the low 80s. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
Weather is brought to you by OG&E Weatherization Program for Arkansas customers with homes at least 10 years old. Call 1-800-272-9741 for details or log on at OGE.com.
ESPN app, KERX Paris Fort Smith. The Bud Light Countdown is on. Arkansas football begins in 80 days.
Good morning, Vietnam!
Broadcasting live from the Bud Light Studio.
I love Arkansas. I love everything here. Give me that thing here. Woo!
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Why did that happen in Fayetteville, Arkansas? Dixon Street. It'll get you.
Streaming live from
Hit that line.
.com.
You want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
This is Halftime.
Man, that ball got out of here in a hurry.
With Phil Elson.
You do a fantastic job on the radio. There's no one else in this league I'd rather listen to, so keep up the good work.
And Tye Richardson.
Been doing some homework, man. I appreciate the work you're putting in. Your show is really, really good, guys.
A bright red Razorback caravan is headed to Nebraska, and this time we're coming for the whole damn thing.
Hey, hold on. It's almost halftime.
End of the baseball season really could be called a quick turnaround season. If you are one of the lucky 8 to make it to the College World Series, you really can't make plans for anything else going on in your life, which nobody that's going to the College World Series is going to complain about that, because you try to leave some things open-ended this time of the year. But it's what do you get, about a day or so in the case of the Razorbacks to to figure things out, which family members will make it to Omaha, who's going to pay for it, how you're going to gather everybody up and get them all out there, and then where you're going to stay once you get there. And, oh, by the way, you do have to plan ahead for potentially being there for 2 weeks. So with all of the other things that go into trying to stop your life in the middle of it and plan for a huge event, that huge event could last for, just like last season, 16 days. In fact, it could go 17 days, I guess, because the teams are traveling 1 day ahead early than usual because of the Major League game. The Tigers and Royals playing tomorrow at TD Ameritrade, so they want all of the 8 participating teams to be there, which I'm assuming will also present a pretty heavy strain on tickets for the Major League game because Omaha's going to show out, there's no doubt, and there'll be plenty of fans from all 8 of the fan bases that want to be a part of that as well. So, I mean, you're talking about potentially planning for 18 days away from whatever regular life is for you and for some people, that is, it feels like regular life. For other people, maybe 18 days away sounds like exactly what you want. But it's a quick turnaround. I mean, I saw where you would think it's a quick turnaround for Arkansas after they finished their super regional on Monday and essentially get about. I mean, we're leaving at 2:00 from the Regional Jet Center, which is our mobile halftime studio location today, up by XNA Airport. So that gives actually less than 48 hours from the time that Matt Cronin threw the final pitch to Thomas Dillard and Jacob Nesbitt made that great play and the celebration began. What was that? That was at about 5:00 in the afternoon, I think, close to 5:00. So you get less than 48 hours before you're actually on the plane and flying to Omaha. Well, then there's Arkansas's opponent. As I understand it, when I saw the end of their victory against LSU, I don't even think that the Seminoles returned to Florida. I think they went from Baton Rouge right up to Omaha. So this is a team that's been on the road really ever since the end of the regular season because Florida State had to go to Durham, North Carolina for the ACC tournament, and then they were on the road for their regional. They were part of the Athens regional, so not too far away from Tallahassee, but certainly it was on the road. And then right after that, they might have been able to head home, but still had to go to Baton Rouge, and then from Baton Rouge right to Omaha. So, I mean, that's a team. I don't know if you can pack for that number of days. Ty, I figured out a goal for the baseball season last year, and not a goal that I ever thought that I would have set before, because when I traveled with the Travelers, the longest trip we ever took was 12 days. And I packed for those 12 days. I never had to do road laundry, which some of my other broadcaster friends did do laundry in hotel facilities or they'd find a laundromat. I never had to do that until the first time I ever went to Hoover with Arkansas. And that's Hoover, as we know, it's got a little bit of a purgatory feel to it. It's between the regular season and the postseason. And
I thought you were talking about the town itself.
No, I don't mean in that sense. I mean the SEC tournament. Hoover's a fine place. It's definitely a lot nicer than what I would imagine purgatory is like, if there is such a thing as purgatory. I know there's such a thing as Hoover, and it hosts the SEC tournament. And that tournament is kind of, it's just between things. It's one of those moments where you're just between something that, isn't quite over yet, and then the part of the season that means everything. So doing road laundry in Hoover was just like, all right, I'm ready to get this thing done and move on to the next thing.
Yeah.
Last year, 16 days in Omaha, and I guess I'd packed for like 9 or 10, figuring I'll figure out a place. And we did figure out the place and did the road laundry, and it was an enjoyable experience, much more enjoyable than doing laundry in Hoover. And not because Hoover is a terrible place, but just because you wanted to stay there as long as you possibly could, get to the very end of it, and then whatever clean laundry you're wearing at the moment, soak it with champagne. Obviously ended up soaking that in tears last year.
There's a plethora of things that I think that could prohibit Arkansas from staying as long as you were able to last year, the team and DVH being there. And I was thinking about it after the game. I didn't want to get into it as of Tuesday because that's a day for positivity. No one wants to talk about negatives or anything yet, Phil. But as you kind of formulate these ideas in your head as they're kind of percolating throughout your mind, you have to start realizing that this team has some iffy points on the roster and some points this season. And I want you to be there all the way. I want you to be doing laundry the day after with a smile on your face rather than sulking as you were last year.
I also want to get a road pedicure because that worked out really nicely last year.
Get you one of those, man. I actually could use a pedicure and a manicure as well. So I if only John will be up there starting on Sunday. Maybe you can get him to join. Y'all could do a halftime and morning rush pedicure. That would be just phenomenal. I think people would eat that up. But Phil, again, your knowledge on this is going to be a lot further along than mine is. But one of the things I have to start with that could prohibit Arkansas from making it on is losing the first game. And I know Florida State is not the most daunting opponent. You'd have success against them. Beat them in 2004, beat them in 2009, one at your place, one on the road. That being said, Phil, this is the Cinderella team. Martin's last year, there's so many different things ESPN is going to do on this broadcast to make sure he's remembered, make sure he gets his respect. This is the darling heading into the College World Series. And I know the draw that Arkansas was able to get was pretty nice comparatively to what it could have been if UCLA and LSU had still been. That being said, Phil, you got to start out with Cinderella, and if it seems like everyone's against you, especially since you make the College World Series last year, the College World Series final, I think that's where you got to start, where you should be a little concerned that you're playing the darling of the College World Series your first game on Saturday night.
Well, and I mean, I can understand the viewpoint behind that. But I mean, if it's a battle of stories, and the Florida State story is great because of Mike Martin's 40-year tenure with 40 victories every season, because of never winning a national championship, and that his last season, it turns out to be essentially one of his worst teams. I mean, they'd made the NCAA tournament every year that he's been there, and they were one of the last teams in. Now, I don't know how the seeding was conducted before the format changed from the 6-8-team regionals to the current format in the tournament, but Florida State had never gotten a bid as a 3 seed, always as a 1 seed or a 2 going on the road, never as a 3. And there was some that felt that Florida State might have gotten in on reputation and on the story of Mike Martin alone. Well, and then they end up becoming, just like you're talking about, this Cinderella team that knocks off a couple of nationals. I mean, they destroyed Georgia. Absolutely destroyed Georgia. That pitching staff had no chance. And then 2 wins in Alex Box Stadium is a massive achievement, even for teams in the regular season.
Yeah.
That's tough to do. To do that in the postseason, well, I guess what would be a bigger Cinderella story? Florida State doing that at Alex Box, or what happened to the Tigers against Stony Brook? So I mean, this has happened before on a different level, because Florida's been to Omaha, umpteen thousand times, and 13 of those times now under Mike Martin, and Stony Brook hadn't even smelled Omaha. Wouldn't even know how to get there if you gave him a map now.
Phil, I still can't figure out which upset I enjoy watching more: the Stony Brook victory over LSU back, I believe, in 2012, or the Robert Morris NIT victory at home that they beat Kentucky. Those are two wins from David ball clubs when they're facing Goliath. Maybe not that year, but Goliath in years past and future years that you just love rewatching over and over and over again, and just talking about them any chance you get.
Well, so I mean, with all that, yes, as the last team into the tournament, it doesn't matter any longer. They've shown the ability to win in places that not a lot of teams can win, and under high pressure situation. But that story still, it does. The Arkansas story compares highly favorably to the Florida State story. The Dave Van Horn hasn't won a national title either story.
Yeah.
The favored, he's almost still looked like a prodigal son returning to Nebraska, where he rose the Cornhuskers baseball program to levels that they still haven't been able to achieve since they got there, and they're looking for a new head coach now with Darren Erstad saying that I think He figured that college coaching, he didn't need it any longer. Still had some of that major league pension money and figured he'd find something else to do. But then the redemption of being the one out away from the national championship last year and now making it back. These stories to me play very well against each other. And once you're in Omaha, I understand there's going to be favorites, and that Florida State and Michigan are the two ones that kind of are the outliers of all the other teams. I mean, when you looked at the bracket at the start of this tournament, you would have thought, yeah, all of the SEC teams on the other side were legit. Save for Auburn, not that Auburn isn't legit, but you thought Mississippi State, oh yeah, they're getting through. Vanderbilt absolutely is getting through. Auburn could maybe if a couple things bounce their way, and they end up doing it. Texas Tech, not a surprise to see them come through. Huge surprises to see Michigan and Florida State come through. So maybe the pixie dust runs out here on this side of the bracket, because there can only be one Cinderella at the ball. You got two of them on this side, and Arkansas's got a chance to see if the slipper fits or if they can just smash that slipper on Saturday, which is the whole idea behind doing it. And then all the stories surrounding it. I don't know if the Cinderella thing affects Arkansas in a negative way, because to me this is a team that, yeah, you're not going to look past any opponent no matter what the situation is when you're playing at TD Ameritrade Park. You say that about Little Rock regular season, fine. You say that about a Stony Brook or something like that during the regular season, that's fine. Anytime you show up for baseball in Omaha, you better be ready for a really good team, even if you didn't expect they'd be there.
And it's hard, if not impossible, to imagine that Dave Van Horn's ball club would look past a team at this point in the tournament, because, as you mentioned, it's the College World Series. These teams are there for a reason. But, Phil, if you look at Arkansas' side of the bracket, I know Michigan has a good day one starter. I don't know about the rest of the depth of their pitching. Texas Tech, that's a pretty salty club, I'll give you that. Florida State being one of the last four in. If we kind of branch out this outside of the Cinderella story and just in Arkansas's bracket, they avoid all three SEC teams until the College World Series final. And there's the idea that this is easily the easier side of the bracket. So even if Dave Van Horn, if Martin, if Kerstad, if Fletch, and all those guys aren't reading the press clippings, you can just inherently know that your side of the bracket is an easier road to the College World Series. And again, as I mentioned to start this conversation, this ball club isn't going to underestimate any of these opponents they play. That being said, it's just hard not to let that seep into your mind, even just a little bit, that they have an easier road to the College World Series. Just as fans, from a fan's perspective point of view, that you think Arkansas has a better chance than they did. Because you think about the road they faced last year, Phil. I think you mentioned it on Tuesday. Texas Tech, and Florida, those were the three teams you played to get to the College World Series final. You had Singer, who they, for whatever reason, stroked and consistently did that. Cody Clemens, Texas, really good ball club there, and then Texas Tech, who they might get a chance to face on Monday. So it's just, compared to last year, the road's easier, and I think fans are going to look at it that way, even though the players won't, DVH won't, and you can't look at it that way.
Well, I'm interested to see what Mike Martin does as far as deciding who will be the starting pitcher for Saturday, because he's got a choice of pretty much two guys. And for Arkansas, there's a choice of one. This is not Central Connecticut. Now, you might look at Florida State as a Cinderella, but they are not a team out of the Northeast Conference. So Isaiah Campbell starts Saturday for Arkansas, and I'd feel pretty confident in saying that. There's no doubt about that. The other two starting pitchers for Arkansas right now, I know we scratch our heads a little bit because of the fact that neither Connor Nolan nor Patrick Wicklander made it through the second inning. And so the bullpen really had to work hard. Here's the thing about this bracket here. I mean, the first part of the College World Series takes a week, where the regional format, you're playing in a 14 regional format now.
Yeah.
The regional takes 3 days. They're tightly packed together. The first round of the College World Series is a week. You don't play back-to-back days at all. In fact, if you win your first two, then you get a 2-day layoff. You get actually a 3-day layoff. No game on Tuesday, no game on Wednesday or Thursday, and you move to the semifinals on Friday. So you can be quick with a hook, as Dave Van Horn is prone to do sometimes, and always with good reason. Some people, I think, criticized him a little for taking Connor Noland out of the game when he did. Knowing Dave and knowing the stakes, and also knowing what I was watching from Noland, I thought he made the right choice. And it's just, he will go to the bullpen early. And it paid off in droves, thanks to Cody Scroggins on Monday. Starting pitching, potentially a concern for Arkansas. Right now, bullpen depth is not a concern. And the fact that you space your games out over the course of a week before you get to the championship series, then it's then it's 3 days in a row. I don't think that the worries about starting pitching are as heavy as you might feel as if this was packed into 3 days right now.
Okay, so I think I'm going to have to disagree with you a little bit. When you say starting pitching is potentially a concern, is it not just a concern? I don't know if you have to add potentially in there, because you still have two freshmen, unless he changes the 2 and 3 spot, that are going to be pitching in the biggest games of their lives. And we mentioned Connor Noland won a state championship a little over 13 months ago in Baum Stadium, and then he pitched in a super regional game, didn't look up to standards. Phil, I think, and again, I'm gonna kind of move you, or I'm gonna give you your baseball knowledge and give you some kind of explain this. I don't know how you can't say pitching is not a concern when 2 and 3, Nolan and Wick didn't even get out of 2 innings at home. And right, I know that was and I know Ole Miss has got a really good lineup, and that's an SEC quality baseball team. Phil, they got to go now to Omaha, Nebraska, the mecca for college baseball, the biggest stage they've ever played. If they thought this stage was big, wait till they walk into TD Ameritrade for the first time. It's when Haskins, and I think Haskins is his name in Hoosiers, when he measures up the length of the court, the basket, and with the tape measure and stuff. I don't know if Dave's going to do something similar. And it's one thing to try and convince players, hey, it's just another ball game, it's just that. Phil, there's still true freshmen in starting roles unless something changes. I think there absolutely is a question mark on the starting pitching, even though I don't want it to be, and even though that me saying that, people are probably going to get ticked, because especially in this area with Connor Noland. But I think there is a definite question mark when it comes to your 2 and 3 guys.
Well, there's a concern, and part of it is because of the inconsistency. But if inconsistency goes bad sometimes, that means that inconsistency goes in a good way sometimes. So where Connor Noland didn't make it out of the second inning against Ole Miss, he didn't make it past one hitter against Vanderbilt, and gives up 5 runs, faces 5 batters. And then next week against Mississippi State, a College World Series entrant, with a lineup that stands toe-to-toe with Vanderbilt and eventually may have to, he throws 7 2/3 innings scoreless, and then goes on for a month long and deals. And so you saw consistency for a good month to 6 weeks there, save for one start. 6 out of 7 starts were pretty high quality, and then obviously at Ole Miss he was bad. He was pretty bad. I don't think Dave doesn't give him the ball, but I also think that he's got somebody ready to go in the bullpen for Game 2. And I would think the same thing about Patrick Wicklander. But you also are in a position where if you win Saturday and Isaiah Campbell does Isaiah Campbell things, if Dave wanted to do so, and you win your second game against either Texas Tech or Michigan, you could have Campbell ready to go for Friday. If you don't, if he doesn't pitch that Friday, and if you are forced to go into an elimination game on a Saturday to force a winner-takes-all to move to the finals, then you have Isaiah Campbell for that Saturday. So, and he'll be ready with a quick hook for either of them. And I feel like we're having the same conversation right now that we had about Isaiah Campbell a year ago, when he comes into the College World Series with 2 of the most different kind of starts in a postseason, where in one of them against Dallas Baptist, he faces 3 batters and he's yanked because he looked that bad.
13 pitches, right?
Right, and they go on to get a victory because Jake Reindl gave him 7 great innings. And then the next week, he went out and he threw 5 really good innings against South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
So he came into the College World Series as the question mark in the starting rotation, and it turned out he outpitched Casey Murphy a little bit. He dealt against Florida and pitched Arkansas to the College World Series. So yeah, I mean, that's why I'm saying it's potentially a concern, because we've seen both from Wicklander and from Noland that they can go out against, by the way, College World Series opponents. Wicklander threw 5 scoreless against Auburn, at Auburn, in a rubber match. These kids have shown that they can do it against these teams already. So I think they would get the chance if it came again. But they'll have a quick hook ready to go, and it's because you have guys that can give you length out of the pen. I think that was the best part of, one of the best parts of Cody's performance on Monday, is that he went back out there and he had his longest relief outing of the year. I mean, he threw a 6-inning start earlier in the season, so we knew he could go that long. But ever since whatever the elbow issue was that knocked him out for a couple of weeks, he'd been limited to about an inning and 2/3 at the most. So you got a guy that can give you length out of the pen then. And, one of my concerns, now here's a concern I'd have. The other guy that you would give the ball to for a longer time period, and there's 2 of them, I guess, are Kevin Kopps and Cole Ramage. And Kopps has been shaky at times, but a little more better good than bad. Cole Ramage has not been very good.
Yeah.
And I feel like Arkansas will need something from him at some point in this College World Series. Or then again, who knows? Here we are talking about pitching, Tye, and what wins Arkansas the Super Regional? 2 games where they score double-digit runs and pound Ole Miss into submission.
Yeah, that hitting. If they can get the hitting and win these hot shot 9-8, 9-7 ball games, hopefully you're not going to be that reliant on pitching. But as you know, it's a lot harder to hit home runs in TD Ameritrade than it is other SEC ballparks that they've been playing in this year.
Hey, I want to welcome a new sponsor onto our program. That's Rhodes Chevrolet, a name you can trust for over 80 years. Rhodes has always been dependable in the car buying and car owning experience, and from the first time you walk into their showroom, you're treated like family. Part of the family-owned dealership and service department that has served the River Valley for over 8 decades. Find your next dependable vehicle today at Rhodes Chevrolet, 2800 Alma Highway in Van Buren, or at RhodesChevy.com. Dependable since 1934. We'll be back after a break. It's halftime on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
The best midday show in the Natty State. You're listening to Halftime.
You know, a night out with friends can be so much more. Upgrade your evening at 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge on the Avenue. Rediscover life's simple pleasures. Dial back, slow down, and immerse yourself in what true relaxation can be. Top shelf wines and liquors, premium beers, world-class cigars, all in an atmosphere that feels less like a lounge and more like a destination. Sample, indulge, escape. 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge. Upgrade your night on the Avenue.
Edwards Auto Center in Roland has a newly remodeled facility with a greater selection of vehicles, and you will enjoy a relaxed, no-pressure sales experience. If your credit score has been an issue, Edwards' signature Buy Here, Pay Here program is a part of their superior customer service. Some restrictions may apply. Edwards has helped folks achieve their dreams of auto ownership and providing quality used vehicles for more than 30 years. Visit the newly remodeled Edwards Auto Center 3 miles west of the Garrison Bridge. The first car dealer on the right, or log on at edwardsautosalesinc.com.
They worked through any problems that came up and got me driving a very nice car. I found the people at Hertz Car Sales to be very helpful and easy to work with. This is what buying a car should be like.
Why not make the short drive to 2810 Midland Boulevard or give them a call at 783-1722. You can also check them out on the web at buyfromhertz.com. Trade-ins are always welcome. Stop by Hertz Car Sales today. You'll be glad you did.
Get $60 back by mail on a Firestone Visa prepaid card when you buy a set of 4 eligible tires. Get up to $100 when you make an eligible tire purchase with your CFNA credit card. Whatever you drive, drive a Firestone.
Your Firestone tires are waiting for you at Southern Tire Mart, just off I-540 at exit 14 in Fort Smith.
Valid now through July 8th. Restrictions apply. Card issued by the Bancorp Bank pursuant to a license from Visa USA Inc. The Bancorp Bank number FDIC and can be used everywhere Visa debit cards are accepted. Card terms and conditions apply. See store for details. All rights reserved. Subject to credit approval. The Bancorp Bank is not affiliated with CFNA.
Looking to upgrade your fleet or needing professional service to your existing fleet? Carco International of Fort Smith offers the latest trucks and equipment in the industry. With over 70 years in the trucking and equipment business, they have the experience to keep you on the road. Carco International offers professional service after the sale. Carco International Parts Department supplies all makes, parts, and gives expert service. Carco International is the answer. Leave it to the pros to keep you on the road. Carco International, located at 2721 Midland Boulevard in Fort Smith.
Every day, vegetables are ripped from the earth, sliced, diced, even something called julienne. But for just $5 a day, you can help. Get 2 Hardee's Original Roast Beef Sandwiches for just $5. Slow-cooked beef, hand-dipped in rich au jus, each prepared without harming a single vegetable. So come to Hardee's, get 2 Original Roast Beef Sandwiches, and save the veggies. Hardee's, because it tastes better. Available for a limited time after regular breakfast hours at participating restaurants. Tax not included. Price and participation may vary.
Evans Body Shop is ready to get your vehicle spiffed up for all the fun activities and trips that come along with the summer. Spend your days at the pool, not worrying about getting your car fixed. We'll do that for you. We will work with you and your insurance company to make the entire process easy. Follow us on Facebook so that you won't miss your chance to win Parrot Islet tickets throughout the summer. Stop in today, 412 Gordon Avenue, Van Buren, and you'll see why we say
Evans Body Shop, where we meet the nicest people by accident.
What's up, everybody? This is John Neighbors from The Morning Rush, and the Razorbacks are back in Omaha for the College World Series. We at ESPN 95.3 want you to come watch all the action with us at Joe's Grill and Cantina in Fort Smith. Every hog game at Joe's will have half-price apps and taps, the game on all their TVs, a great atmosphere, and my personal favorite, all the chips and salsa you can eat. So come watch the Hogs in Omaha this Saturday at Joe's Grill and Cantina at 3400 South 74th Street in Fort Smith. Hogs by 90.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Tye Richardson.
From Fort Smith, from Pine Bluff, from all 4 corners of the natural state, college baseball's Emerald City is the destination. A bright red Razorback caravan is headed to Nebraska, and this time we're coming for the whole damn thing.
So 1, 2, 3, take my hand and come with me because you look so fine that I really want to make you mine.
We're going to invite you to come to the whole damn Thick Burger, the 15th annual Thick Burger eating contest for a football trip of a lifetime at Hardee's locations that will be announced shortly. You'll be going to Kansas City to see the Chiefs and the Chargers just before the new year. 2 tickets to the game, premium hotel accommodations and spending cash, plus memories that last a lifetime. Come out to a Thick Burger Challenge remote at Hardee's to get qualified. Eat a Thick Burger in 90 seconds or less, and you're automatically qualified for the finals. That'll be Saturday, August 17th. And even if you're not an eating contest kind of person, like my man Tye Richardson is, find someone who is, because the trip is for 2. So we'll have dates and locations for Thick Burger Challenges coming up over the next few weeks.
There we go. I mean, hey, listen, kind of like Phil's saying, try and, if you're not good at eating a lot, swindle someone who is, that they'll win and then take you on to the game. And it's, as Phil and I both butchered yesterday, it's no longer the San Diego Chargers, it's the Los Angeles Chargers taking on the Kansas City Chiefs. You get to see high-flying Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and them with Phillip Rivers coming in, and hopefully, if he's all rehabbed up, Hunter Henry coming back. So that's always it's always good to see Pro Hogs. And I think Darius Philon's still on the Chargers, so a couple Pro Hogs on the team.
Pretty cool. Very, very good. All right, we're also staking out locations for halftime in Omaha. We've actually been able to secure again, we're going to have to count. We're going to have to get through our count. I think by the end of the College World Series time, maybe we'll have the halftime mobile studio location count up to 30, 35 perhaps, because I assume we'll do it from inside TD Ameritrade at some point. Hopefully if Arkansas wins the first game, then they'd play 6 o'clock on Monday, so I would just do the show from there, unless we find another location for the week after. So we'll do it from the stadium, do it from the hotel. The team is staying at the downtown Doubletree Hotel. They're going to work with us and not be like the folks that were in Greenville that we're going to force us to pay. That's right. We're not going to need a local radio host to give us his guest bedroom for the day. And I know we've got a location for Friday's show,
Yeah,
which is really close to the hotel and close to the stadium, so it'll be nice.
Yeah, I know. And I actually just text our clients about that. Just want to make sure there's everything all set before we reveal it. So not going to reveal it just yet, but we will be on location somewhere Friday. I'm thinking Morning Rush should be on location somewhere all week next week, and then also Phil, you should be on location on Monday, and then hopefully in the week as well. I'm thinking this is going to last because it's kind of up to Arkansas, right? Like you could be going home on Tuesday, or I don't know if you guys leave on Monday night, depending on the game. But it'd be a true bummer, and I don't think anyone thinks they're going to happen with all the momentum they have that they're just going to get there and go 0 for 2 in barbecue. But that's still a possibility, unfortunately, that you have to realize.
Well, it is a crazy game, and you never quite know what to expect, and it's the toughest game to predict. So I guess at some point you'll ask me about a prediction for the game on Saturday.
No,
but
you can't do that as the play-by-play guy, I thought, right?
I'll give you an opinion. I will opine for you.
Okay.
By the way, so you got the reason that the team is leaving today, and right about now they should be having a media session at Baum Walker Stadium, and then hop on the bus to meet me up here at the Regional Jet Center where we'll fly out. Is because there is the Major League game at TD Ameritrade Park tomorrow between the Kansas City Royals and the Detroit Tigers. I know there's a lot of people that say that sounds like a AAA game, actually, with neither of those teams doing all that well. So it'll be. I think it's going to be interesting because that's a small stadium for Major League standards. Although, hey, it would fit 2.5 crowds on average of Miami Marlins fans, and really, I mean, there's plenty of Major League teams that don't average 25,000. They're going to jam this place up. I'm sure Omaha's got plenty of Royals fans since their AAA affiliate is located just outside the city of Omaha in Sarpy County. So there are tickets available, by the way, if we've got listeners that are making plans to head up for the College World Series. And I think this is actually a really neat event to play a Major League game at the Showcase of College Baseball. And this is something Major League Baseball has been really cool about over the last few years. I mean, they play in Williamsport during the Little League World Series. They built a stadium out of nowhere in Fort Bragg, North Carolina, to play a military appreciation game, a real regular season game at a pop-up stadium that came out of nowhere. The Yankees and the Red Sox are playing in London this season, and of course, as I wasn't too proud about, they started the Major League season with the A's and the Mariners in Japan. Well, they've been doing that for a long time and played some opening games in Australia. But you're starting to see also now across, even inside this country, that there's more of a movement to at least play a game or two here or there in other settings that celebrate other sides of baseball that aren't connected right then and there to the major leagues, and that it feels to me like, you know, that Major League Baseball and NCAA baseball are at least able to work together on this to the point where maybe they can also get to the point where you can hold the draft there, which I think would be really cool. Instead of doing it in a TV studio, as cool as the MLB studios are in Secaucus, New Jersey, I think it'd be even cooler to do it at TD Ameritrade Park.
Phil, slap me through the iPhone camera if I'm wrong, but this is the first time that they played an MLB game prior to the College World Series, right?
Yes,
okay.
Yes. No need to slap you.
Okay, cool.
None whatsoever. And it also kind of it's not like TD Ameritrade Park needs any validation, but I mean the old stadium was a AAA park. That's where the Royals AAA team played for forever. I mean, there's such a connection between the Royals and Omaha. In fact, I think that the AAA affiliate for Kansas City Royal Baseball has been there in Omaha for 51 or 52 years, which makes it the longest affiliation.
Because KC's about, what, 3.5 from Omaha? Is that about right?
So. Yeah.
Okay, so it's not too far. And you think about, it was funny when we had Norm DeBryan on yesterday. He had talked about the comparison between George Colt Field and then Baum Walker Stadium. It was funny to get his insight on what it was like to play in Rosenblatt way back in 1979, then compared to going to TD Ameritrade now. That's just wild that Arkansas has had two coaches in that span of time. You think about the football program and the basketball program. Basketball, not as much, more the football program, how many coaches they've had in that time period. But between Arkansas baseball, that is just a sturdy program where you flip to one, and DVH has just kind of carried it to a new level.
Well, and I saw that you put on a rundown here an interesting piece on ESPN where the writers are focusing on athletic programs, college athletic programs that had great coaches and great things going for a long time, and seeing how their successors measured up to. It's called Chasing Ghosts, which in the basketball sense, and what you've posted up here on our rundown, is about the Nolan Richardson ghost, or I think we should call it the Nolan Richardson monster, to use his term, on the program that he'd built, and how things haven't been the same since, as we've that horse has been ridden for a long, long time. In the baseball sense, Dave Van Horn chased a ghost too, a ghost that he played for and coached for, and he has. I mean, Norm would tell you that other than in regular season wins, Dave Van Horn has taken that program, which was already at a high level, and raised it. So it's almost like Dave is the living embodiment of the ghost himself now.
He surpassed it, and I think Norm. I think I kind of asked him. It's like, hey, what's it like to see a former player, former assistant coach, and a guy you mentored have so much success? And he went into that. By the way, if you hadn't listened to the interview, Norm gave some great stuff. I really enjoyed Phil's call, which I thought was kind of funny. Phil, this combination piece on ESPN, and by the way, Phil mentioned it's called Chasing Ghosts. It's on ESPN.com. It was written by Joe Lunardi, Myron Metcalf, and Jeff Borzillo. Now, Borzillo is more of a recruiting guy for ESPN. Lunardi's more of the college basketball brackets guy. Metcalf is more the nitty-gritty actual college basketball stuff, and of the three, he's probably the opinion I trust the most. What I found interesting, and I think it was Metcalf is the one that had this belief, they said if Arkansas had kept Nolan Richardson back before he was fired, do you think he could have turned the program around? And Metcalf was the one, I believe, that thought he could. And we think about what would have happened if Andre Iguodala would have ended up coming to Arkansas instead of going to Arizona and playing for Lute Olson. There's a number of different scenarios that we can always play in your head. Maybe you didn't hire Stan Heath. Maybe you get it and just pass the job on to Mike before. That way he doesn't take the interim job, go away to UAB, Missouri, then come back. But that was just, I thought, an interesting piece, that specific part of the piece where they were talking about if Nolan would have been given the opportunity to continue at Arkansas, would he had another run in him? And I don't know what I think. It's tough for me to debate that because I was such a kid at the time, so I didn't know everything that went into what happened at the very end. I've tried my best to talk to people and research, but that's an interesting storyline and an interesting question if Nolan Richardson would have been given kind of that, I don't know if second chance is the right word to put it, but if he would have kept going, if he would have kept the job and not been fired, would he have turned this program around?
Well, that's a big if, because I just don't see any way that they would have been able to, with everything that had been said through the press. And,
yeah.
Oh, absolutely. They're just, coaching ability aside, and it was obvious that it didn't seem that Nolan was really ready to give up the reins or just end coaching. I mean, he still coached after that. I mean, he coached in the WNBA and Panamanian national team. I know that's not top level Division I college basketball, but it's still coaching. I think he still had the bug for it. But I just don't see how they could have coexisted at all. So that's a big if. That's underlined, italicized, and bolded, and even a strike through.
And I'll say this about you, Bud. You could have come in Tuesday, hot shot. Oh, look at me. I just had one of the best calls in Razorback history. You could have said, oh, you need to cut this. You need to cut this. You could have cut that. And I'm being genuine with this. I'm not just pumping smoke up Phil's ass. I am being genuine as I can be when Phil, you're not egotistical. You had just a phenomenal call at the end of the game. You even asked me about an hour after the game was over. You sent me the clips, and it was like, be honest with me. Tell me what you think of that call. And I, and as so many others, really enjoyed it. And I know that with Frank and Nolan, those were two guys that had big egos, and for good reason. Nolan won the first program's ever national championship in terms of the basketball sort of things. Frank won football in '64 and was the most powerful guy in Arkansas sports. Tommy mentioned a couple weeks ago that no one will ever have the power that Frank yielded as the athletic director of Arkansas. And so when you have two conflicting personalities, sometimes it's not going to last forever, period. Belichick and Brady, as good as they've been together, there was a great piece from Seth Wickersham of ESPN.com how they have butted heads, how Garoppolo is no longer a Patriot because they butted heads, and certain things have happened like that. Conflict eventually eats over. When you have guys with egos, and again, if Arkansas wins a national championship, please don't develop one, Phil. I'm good with our relationship how it is now. But it just that's how it goes. That's how she goes, boys. Sometimes that's the only way you can say how it goes.
Well, I guarantee you, Ty, I'm never going to be taking you to court. I'm never going to be accusing you of being a racist, and I'm never going to.
I'm knocking on wood as you
all
say
of these things, all of those things. Hey, it's just even bringing it up, and these to me weren't wounds when it happened because I wasn't steeped in what I'm steeped in now. That was my first or second year living in Arkansas. Even talking about it now, I can see where it still sort of scratches some old wounds that you might not really want to open up a little bit.
Yeah.
We should step aside. Before I go to the break, though, I want to talk to anybody that's getting involved into real estate. If you're looking for a new home, Quantum Property Services. If you're looking to get into real estate investing, Quantum Property Services. Buying, selling, investing, all your property needs. Quantum Real Estate has seasoned pros that know their stuff, and they can guide you through the experience with confidence. And if you want to get into real estate investing, one call does it all. They'll find the right property or properties and make it hassle-free by managing those properties for you. That's Quantum Property Services at 479-434-6860. Their website, quantumpropertyservicesinc.com. We come back on halftime. It's ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Tye Richardson. Follow them on Twitter at Phil Elson PXP and at Tye Sports Radio.
It's your piece of land, your point of pride, your place of peace and quiet. Your yard means something to you. So mow like you mean business with a professional-grade Gravely zero-turn mower. Gravely means comfort. Gravely means strength. Gravely means cutting precision. Gravely mowers mean business. Gravely, build to mow the distance.
Visit Bush Machine and Tractor, 7301 0 Street in Fort Smith, or at bushtractor.com.
Quit eating your burgers off a coffee table. If you want to eat a burger, put it on a bar. Follow your instincts to B-Dubs for the new All-American Cheeseburger. Fresh, juicy beef smashed till it's crispy around the edges, covered in gooey cheese, and stacked to the ceiling with deliciousness. And knock that baby down with a frosted beer at the bar, just like the sports gods intended. The new All-American Cheeseburger at Buffalo Wild Wings. Roar! Please drink responsibly.
Have you been thinking about new windows or vinyl siding for your home? Then think Superior Siding and Windows. Superior Siding and Windows has been offering low-maintenance, energy-efficient products in the River Valley for over 40 years. Superior Siding and Windows also specializes in sunrooms, patio covers for carports, and much more. Call 646-7888 for a free in-home estimate. Superior Siding and Windows, 646-7888. Superior Siding and Windows. Look for us in the Yellow Pages and like us on Facebook.
Arkansas Fuel Injection in Fort Smith has been providing quality work for all new and rebuilt diesel pumps and injectors for over 25 years. They are a certified diesel shop with a team of quality technicians that ensure the highest quality workmanship and warranties all their work. They're open Monday through Friday 8 to 5 and has emergency service available 24 hours a day. For all your diesel pump, fuel injection, and parts needs, stop by Arkansas Fuel Injection, 6300 South 29th Street, Fort Smith. Call them today at 1-800-817-7709. Arkansas Fuel Injection.
Hi, I'm Lisa Hinton. You asked, and we listened. New financing options available now at Champ Hinton Enterprises. Can you believe payments starting at $150 a month? 5-minute credit approvals and 0 down with trade-ins. Come find out for yourself why we have been serving families in the River Valley for over 38 years with over 35,000 cars, trucks, and SUVs sold. We treat you like family. Champ Hinton Enterprises, I-540 at the Arcoma exit, or champhinton.com.
Is your home at least 10 years old and served by OG&E? OG&E is offering Arkansas customers a free weatherization program to increase your comfort and lower your bills. A trained crew will perform an energy audit at no cost to you, and if your home qualifies, our crews will install measures that will save you money. The services provided through this program are absolutely free to qualifying homes. If you could benefit from free home weatherization improvements, call OG&E at 1-800-272-9741. That's 1-800-272-9741.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Tye Richardson.
Out of here for Kerstad's 16th. And the Hogs lead 9-1. That ball is in Norm's Lake, and it is wet.
Well, pretty confident that Arkansas will start Isaiah Campbell on Saturday. I'm sure Dave Van Horn is being asked that question right now. It probably already was asked that question within the last 15 minutes. Since the media session started at 12:30, what do you think, Ty? You think that question was asked at 12:30 by Bob Holt, since he gets the first and second and third question?
I'm glad you said Bob, because it's funny. Not only does Bob Holt get the first question at Arkansas media-related events where they're typically on Arkansas campus, he gets the same first question, whether it's Gus Malzahn, Barry Odom, any of the coaches at SEC Media Days, they look at him or point to him, say, hey, let Bob have the first question. It's great. And again, this goes kind of back to the ego thing. It would be, people wouldn't like it if Bob was an egomaniac or was egotistical or was arrogant, but Bob's just such a nice, genuine guy that he's such a spectacle when it comes to sports media. I think it was AL.com that did a piece on him, but absolutely agree. Bob got the first question for sure.
At some point, and I don't know if I get into it now, but I need to be able to tell all our listeners about this interesting exchange that occurred at the table I was sitting in the media area during the Super Regional, or was it the Regional? I forget, between Mike Irwin of Pig Trail Nation and Bob Holt. Two guys that have been at the same press conferences together for how long now, and seem to feel they know each other's tendencies really well. It's kind of like it's like two 20-year veterans, one on the pitcher's mound, one at the plate. They know each other's tendencies and how to react to them.
You can't tease that and not go into. I mean, how long is it? We got about 2 or 3 minutes to the break, and I mean, you think about it. Mike, I know has been covering. Bob's been covering the team since '78. Mike's been covering the team since Ed Ogeron was on staff at Arkansas. Ed Ogeron was on staff. It's like a GA or something. So.
Now, I don't remember word for word, but it was mostly Mike doing the talking, and he was kind of giving Bob a little stuff about the number of questions he'll ask, and that if he doesn't get the answer he's looking for, that he'll ask the same question in another way and try to get that question answered the way he wants. And hey, good journalists will ask the same question in different ways, always.
Exactly.
You have to do that.
And that's
to get around coach speak sometimes, you have to do that.
And again, there's a plethora of ways that I can make fun of Mizzou, but they do have a good journalism school, and Bob is a graduate of that journalism school.
Oh, they have a great journalism school.
Yeah.
Just ask any of their graduates.
Yeah, and he's not one to brag on that, but Bob's a really stinking good journalist. Well, like
any Mizzou journalist is going to brag on their school. It's like the Syracuse kids and their broadcasting school.
God, there's a lot of them down here, and yeah, a lot of them down. It's weird how many Syracuse. I don't know as much Mizzou, but there's like 5 or 6 Syracuse grads in the sports department in some variation up here that cover the University of Arkansas. It's a weird phenomenon that people come all the way from New York down to the Fayetteville, Arkansas, Northwest Arkansas, and Fort Smith region. It's weird, but hey, it happens.
It is a little weird. Let's take a look and see who Florida State might pitch, because Drew Parrish has been their Game 1 starter virtually all year long. He's a left-handed junior who has a 5.11 earned run average, although he has struck out 116 and 86 in the third inning. So they got a couple of starting pitchers that have extremely high strikeout rates, but ERAs that are a little bit higher than you might expect. The other is right-hander C.J. Van Eck, who, and I don't know if I'm saying his name correctly. His last name is E-Y-K, Van Eck. 10-3 record with a 380 earned run average, and goes a little bit longer than Parrish does, and just on the numbers alone would just look like he'd be the sort of pitcher that a Florida State would want to start against against Arkansas. Parrish was taken out on the 5th inning of Game 1 in Florida State's Super Regional victory, and he did. He did give up a couple of runs here. Well, I'm looking at the wrong line. What did he do here?
Dun, 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 dun,
Yeah, right. Here we are, Parrish. Yeah, he gave up 4 runs in 4 2/3 innings. So, I mean, that's not the kind of numbers they'd be looking for there. C.J. Van Eck, the other starting pitcher, and that's I'm interested. I'd be very interested to see who they're going to decide to go with here, because are you going with the lefty, thinking that you got a lefty-heavy Razorback lineup? Are they susceptible to that left-hander? You know what I've been saying, Ty. They hit fine against lefties. They just don't crush them the way they do righties. You go with the righty and Van Eck. Now, both of these pitchers get a lot of strikeouts. Arkansas can be a strikeout team every once in a while, so I don't know. We'll see. By the way, want to remind you about Road Chevrolet. For over 80 years, a name you can trust. Dependable in the car buying and car owning experience. From the first time you walk into their showroom, you'll be treated like family. Part of the family-owned dealership and service department that has served the River Valley for over 8 decades. You'll find your next dependable vehicle today at 2800 Alma Highway in Van Buren or roadchevy.com. Road Chevrolet, dependable since 1934. First hour wrapping up next. ESPN Arkansas, hitthatline.com.
More halftime in just a moment.
When was the last time you looked forward to seeing the dentist? Well, if it's been a while or you haven't had the best of experience with dentistry, meet Marcy Van Ash McKinney in Family Dentistry. They take care of it all: crowns, bonding, dentures, bleaching, and cosmetic dentistry. They even offer oral consciousness sedation available for your comfort. That's Marcy Van Ash McKinney Family Dentistry at 807 South 21st. Call for an appointment today, 494-7600. That's 494-7600.
For almost 70 years, Crabtree RV in Alma has been helping people in the River Valley get out and enjoy the great outdoors. And that tradition continues today with our brand new body shop, a first-class service department, and a friendly staff to help you choose from the top brands in the industry. So put away the devices and get out this summer to enjoy all that the natural state has to offer. With a little help from Crabtree RV in Alma, where your family's dreams come true.
0% financing and huge spring savings on new Buicks at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. The 2019 Buick Encore, only $18,999 or just $299 a month. That's a 2019 for under $19,000. Or get 0% financing for 72 months on most Buick models, including the Cascada, Encore, Regal, LaCrosse, and Envision. Spring into savings at the #1 Buick dealer in the country, Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith. Tommy Kraft for the Fence Man. Do you own a business that needs more security? Or maybe you just want a better look and more curb appeal? A new fence from the Fence Man can give you both. In business for more than 40 years, the Fence Man can custom install any type of fencing, gates, controlled access, and card readers. Call the Fence Man for a quick, no obligations quote. 479-782-3936. That's 782-3936. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work.
It's time for summer fun and Prestigious Pool Care is ready. All outdoor furniture in stock is half price. That's right, half price. Get 20% off all pool toys and floats. Prestigious Pool Care will keep you safe with free water testing. Just bring them a sample. And if your pool needs some help, Prestigious Pool Care has the products to assure safe swimming. Need extra storage to free up some space? There are only a few units left for rent. Prestigious Pool Care and Storage makes summer fun. Bring your pool water to 9900 Highway 71 South or call for more information at 648-1213.
What's your next obsession? If it's diving lessons, Ocean Impact Dive Shop, Western Arkansas, and Eastern Oklahoma's premier dive shop is waiting on you. Ocean Impact is a full-service 5-star PADI dive shop offering air fills and tank inspections. The staff can answer all your questions and get you started on your underwater adventure. Ocean Impact Dive Shop, 2127 South 56th Street, Fort Smith. Don't wait, summer's just around the corner. Get to Ocean Impact Dive Shop. Go get your dive on. Are you looking at new floors for your home or maybe a new look in some rooms? Look no further. Woodard Carpet and Designs in Clarksville can provide the products and services to fit your needs. JT and Melissa Woodard, along with the certified staff, will help you with floors, walls, and windows, along with in-house decorating. They can carry luxury vinyl, plank, and tile, commercial carpet, Wilson Art countertops, custom area rugs, wallpaper, and custom blinds. Visit Woodard Carpet and Design at 514 West Cherry in downtown Clarksville.
Keep your lawn and garden hydrated this spring with the Green Thumb Never Kink Garden Hose from Metters Lumber True Value for only $14.99 while supplies last. This 5/8 inch by 50-foot heavy-duty hose features self-straightening technology to guarantee no kinks and tangles. It also has antimicrobial protection against mold and mildew. Stop into Metters Lumber True Value for this bargain of the month and other great lawn care products to make your yard the envy of the block.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Tye Richardson.
Back is Servideo at the wall. He leaps out of here. Casey opens with his third home run. Have a party at Paul Walker Stadium.
Back on Halftime, ESPN Arkansas, hitthatline.com. Forbes came out with the list of the world's highest paid athletes. Lionel Messi is at the top of the list. Messi making $127 million, counting his team pay and his endorsements. And Trey Flowers is number 57, $30.2 million. He got there from the Hogs. We'll be back for the second hour quickly. ESPN Arkansas, hitthatline.com.
World Class Fitness in Fort Smith is not like other gyms. Open 24/7 so you can work out however, whenever you want. With women's only workout area, free childcare, racquetball courts, and large free weight area, this is the gym for you. World Class Fitness is not that gym. There are no limitations to your goals, gains, or success. No contract and special discount pricing options available. So visit WCFit.com or stop by World Class Fitness today. Don't forget to try clean cooking for your meal prep needs.
It's back, it's way back. Hello, this is Jack Dean with Road Chevy in Van Buren. Come in and hit a home run with these savings. Take home a new 2019 Silverado for as low as $29,988, or a new 2019 Chevy Trax with payments starting as low as $299 a month, or save up to $12,000 on a new 2018 Z701 Crew Cab while supplies last. Take the short drive and we'll go the extra mile for you. Road Chevrolet, exit 2A of 5540 in Van Buren. Find new road.
With approved credit, see dealer for details.
Visit your locally owned Cub Cadet dealer, Myers Mower and Tiller, and find out why the all-new Ultima Series zero-turn mowers have started a zero-turn revolution. From a square tubular steel frame to premium powerful engines to best-in-class cut, Ultima Series is engineered to be a fully optimized command center of comfort and precision. Supported by genuine parts, accessories, and trained service technicians you'll only find at your local Cub Cadet dealer. Test drive the ultimate mowing experience today at Myers Mower and Tiller at 5109 Wheeler Avenue. For expert advice, superior service, and exceptional offers.
Joe's Grill and Cantina is the only place to watch the Hogs. Watch every game at Joe's. Enjoy half-price apps and taps during the game. And with TVs all around the restaurant, you'll have a front row seat. Half-price appetizers like brisket nachos, Mexican pizza, 10-layer dip, or Joe's humongous sampler platter. All half price. And all beers on tap are half price. Watch every Hog game at Joe's. Half-price apps and taps during every Hog game at Joe's Grill and Cantina, 3400 South 74th Street across from Harps.
At Michelob Ultra, we know it's not just about how much you work out every day. It's about how much you work into every day, too. So we brew our beer for those who realize that expending calories should never come at the expense of spending time with friends. Those who understand that just because you work out doesn't mean you can't go out. And that's why we brew Michelob Ultra to have 95 calories, 2.6 carbs, and a crisp, clean taste. Michelob Ultra, brewed for those who live fit, live fun, live Ultra. Enjoy responsibly. 2018 Michelob Ultra Light Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri. 95 calories, 2.6 carbs, 0.6 grams of protein, and 0 grams fat for 12 ounces.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
Slight chance of a shower or thunderstorm across the north tonight. Overnight lows will drop down into the mid-50s. Could see a few isolated showers or thunderstorms for Wednesday with our high in the mid-70s north, low 80s south. Back to sunshine on Thursday. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
Weather is brought to you by OG&E Weatherization Program for Arkansas customers with homes at least 10 years old. Call 1-800-272-9741 for details or log on at OGE.com.
I hate everything you just said. KERX Paris Fort Smith. This is Halftime, coming at you from the Bush and Bushlight Studios on ESPN 95.3.
They're hilarious.
Good morning, Vietnam!
Broadcasting live from the Bud Light Studio.
I love Arkansas. I love everything here. Give me that thing here. Woo!
on your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Why did that happen in Fayetteville, Arkansas?
Dixon Street. It'll get you.
Streaming live from
Hit that line.
.com.
You want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
This is Halftime.
Man, that ball got out of here in a hurry.
With Phil Elson.
You do a fantastic job on the radio. There's no one else in this league I'd rather listen to, so keep up the good work.
And Tye Richardson.
Been doing some homework, man. I appreciate the work you're putting in. Your show is really, really good, guys.
A bright red Razorback caravan is headed to Nebraska, and this time we're coming for the whole damn thing.
All right, hold on. It's almost halftime.
Well, that bright red caravan should actually start with a couple of buses making their way from the stadium right now up towards XNA. And I guess that's the first of the caravan that'll be arriving in Omaha, though we're not driving there. We are going to be getting on an NCAA plane. So this is probably a larger plane than we've been flying on for this baseball season. I plan on sleeping since I had no ability to sleep the last couple of days. It's after that game on Monday, it took quite a while to get down. Yesterday, and this would be a good start to get into what we usually do on a Wednesday right here. Go ahead, Tye. You can hit it for Change My Mind.
I changed my mind.
Hi, Joey.
Hey, how you doing?
He won't sell anybody out to buy his future.
How can you be so obtuse? What did you call me? Obtuse? Is it deliberate? Son, you're forgetting yourself.
Change My Mind.
So the reason that I had you play it there is because I was going to talk just briefly about yesterday, and I had a chance. Now, so I was in Fayetteville, obviously, for Monday's game. And now I'm back up here in Bentonville, right outside Bentonville. Cave Springs, I think, is where the Regional Jet Center is really located in. They've got a Bentonville address, but I think it's Cave Springs. And I drove back to Little Rock Tuesday morning, did the show, hung with the boy. My daughter's at sleepaway camp for the next 3.5 weeks. So had the boy with me, and then we went to an arcade. We've got this arcade we love to go to with real older video games and even older pinball machines. And we had ourselves dinner and chilled out a little bit, watched some television, and went to sleep. And you know what that was, Tye? That's what you call a regular day. It's a nice regular day. You know, go to work, although for me work yesterday was just getting out of bed. Well, actually, it wasn't getting out of bed. It was driving home and then doing the show in the apartment. But that's still like a regular day for me. And then hanging with the kid and all that sort of stuff. It's just a regular summer, although it's not summer yet. It still feels like summer since school's over. A regular day. And I think that's my last regular day for a while because regular days don't involve hotels. Regular days don't involve broadcasting baseball games, to be quite honest. Regular days don't involve tens of thousands of screaming, rabid Razorback fans everywhere you turn in the downtown area. Regular days don't involve being outside of home very much. And I don't know how long it's going to be until I actually get another regular day. And I'll tell you what, it'll take a while. Once this whole thing ends, it'll take a while to come back down to whatever reality is. And I remember that experience from last year. I don't know what it was like for the players because some of them actually just go and start their professional careers. They've got the next thing ahead of them. And then others go and play summer ball or they just hit campus and work out. But there's still a come-down period. For me, and I'll be upfront about this too, it's not like I have a problem with it, but I'm pretty sure I was clinically depressed once we got back to Arkansas and had to figure out what's next. I mean, you're on this incredible 5-month magical run, and then the last month of it is so incredibly intense, and then the 2 weeks being in Omaha, and then the intense feeling of the championship series and the heartbreak of the loss and all of that. That's really being at a heightened state for a long time. When you finally come down and you're going from 60,000 RPM to 0, there's a come down period. And I mean, honest here, I do feel like I might have been clinically depressed for at least a couple of weeks, or really longer than that, until you figure out what's next on the map. And I don't know. To me, the regular days were tough to come back to. I don't know if that'll be the case this time around because we'll have this show, and I think we'll find more of a normalcy once whatever normalcy will be. But I don't think I'm going to have a regular day for a good long time because my days coming up are going to be involving steak and baseball and pedicures and probably massages and probably walks through crowds where people want to talk Razorback baseball, and it's just not going to be regular. So it's going to be a while time before I get a day like yesterday. Change my mind.
I hope so. I mean, you want me to be blunt? I hope it's the next 2 weeks or whatever it is, a little more than that. I hope you don't come back depressed. I hope you come back overjoyed, but I can't predict that. No one can. And I think when you talk about being clinically depressed after what happened last season, that doesn't just apply to you. It's applicable to most of this fan base because Arkansas has been so used to this over the years with stuff happening. I was going to ask Bill Keene when we have him up in about an hour, or excuse me, not an hour, about in 30 minutes or so, is the perception, because the perception from the Arkansas point of view is that the Razorbacks always choke and they somehow find a way to lose the big game. And I'm curious from the national standpoint, and that doesn't apply for every case, obvious evidence by the national championship in 94 and other games you can point to, but that's just the overall perception, I feel like. I'm going to ask Bill if that's the perception nationally. Kind of you touched on your personal experience at this time last year. Bill, I was trying to get hired here last year. I had an interview with Tommy and John sometime around this time, or right after it. Tommy went on vacation during the College World Series, and then I didn't hear back for a week or two. So I'm frantically trying to get a job down here. Again, I make no bones about it. I love Nashville. I love the city. I had a great friend group out there, but a full-time job in radio beats a part-time job in radio every single day of the week. And I wanted to be back in Arkansas, and here I am. So I remember last year, and I remember after game one, I told my buddies who were meeting at this bar in Nashville called Neighbors, guys, I'm not coming to game two. Arkansas's not going to win. I just told them that straight up, and they were ticked off at me, blah, blah, blah. I just said, I'm not coming. I'm watching this at home. And sure enough, that happened, and then I'm not going to even touch on game three. But, Phil, I hope you're there for a couple weeks. Back to your change. I'm not going to change your mind. I hope you're there for the next 3 weeks. I hope they have a ceremony up there or whatever. I hope the entire state heads up to Omaha, Nebraska after what it concludes in this College World Series.
I need to make you as envious as I possibly can. And the experience alone, because you've been to the College World Series, so you know how much fun it is. So I know you'll have some FOMO, and I know it's not Friday, but I'm going to need to send you a phone eats first picture of every single steak that I eat. Will you punch me the next time you see me if I do that?
Oh, you'll have a slap or two built up from my point of view, I think. And it's not this is the kid of me. It's not fair because Tommy's going to go to the College World Series if they make it into next weekend. John's going to be down there starting on Sunday, and poor little Tye's just going to be sitting back here manning the board as
just pushing buttons. Pushing buttons, keeping everybody afloat, making sure that nobody's F-bomb goes over the air.
I mean, think about if something were to happen these 2 weeks and Arkansas does pull it off in game two, John and Tommy are out partying until the break of dawn. I'm sure you'll be joining them, and it's not like I'm going to be sober that night. Like, I'm going to have to make sure that we're on air the next morning. Just to be honest, I was thinking about that because John and Tommy were talking about it a little bit earlier. They were giving me a hard time about it. I was like, man, I'm gonna have to set like 10 alarms that next morning because can you imagine the fury that would come from Tommy Kraft if I did not make it to this station the following morning after Arkansas win a national championship? I would get fired the next day. There's my first change my mind. If I did not make it to the station after Arkansas won a national championship and John and Tommy and you were on location somewhere and they had no one else to man the board, I would get fired the next day. Change my mind.
That's okay. You really think I'm going to be able to do a radio show the day after Arkansas wins a national championship in baseball? If that actually does go down, I'll have to whisper the show. I'll have no voice left. It will be all gone. I'm really good at containing my voice and actually keeping the strength of it going. I've been good at this for a long time. I don't get hoarse. I will be hoarse. I will have nothing left. The best I could do is I'd need it to be an interactive radio show involving our FaceTime so I could write on a notebook the things I want our listeners to hear. So I hope in your stupor you're able to do the show alone.
We could do the show in Morse code for the entire 2 hours. Just beep, beep, beep. And then I'll do the beep, beep. I mean, that would be the only way for us to communicate because we'd be so hoarse. It would be like two lifelong smokers trying to like listen to, like, I don't even know if that's not even to the point. Like we could not speak coherently because of how much you and I would be shouting. And you have to somewhat tone yours down having a mic in front of your face and whatnot. I'll be at a bar. I don't have to tone down anything.
Well, the difference is depending on what bar you'll be at, you might have some smoke going in through. That's the thing that can really kill it.
Yeah, it'll be
is when you get the smoke going through. It's not the screaming necessarily.
Or putting the cart way before the horse. They haven't even played the first College World Series game. So
that's exactly right. I thought the same thing when I was listening to the Morning Rush today.
Yeah.
All right. So my second is, this Kevin Durant injury is disturbing on many levels, and the top level is that potentially the best player in the NBA is out for the next year, depending on how severe this Achilles injury is. And I think he's flying to New York, to get it evaluated. And the other level, obviously, that people have been talking about is the reaction of the Toronto fan base. And I think we got into that yesterday. I mean, we've been lauding the Toronto fan base for the way that they've carried on about their team in a very Canadian way, very positive, sort of clean way. But cheering his injury has made people look at that fan base, at least for the moment, in a much different light. The other part of this injury is that it sounded like, based upon some of the sound bites that I'd heard from Steph Curry and potentially Steve Kerr, that the onus is being placed on Golden State management for quote unquote pressuring Kevin Durant into taking the court in a position where he might not have been healthy enough to really get out there and play.
Yeah.
Now, for a player who is paid this much money, it's his own decision when he's going to go out on that court. I mean, that was essentially, the whole reason that brought Kawhi Leonard out of San Antonio to Toronto. I mean, he said he'll go out there and play whenever he's ready. And Kevin Durant, you wonder what was going through his mind, about where his legacy stands if Golden State wins or if Golden State loses. If they lose because he wasn't on the court, then he wasn't tough enough to play. If they win with him and he's not on the court, then they never needed him to begin with. And so it's tough to get into his mind right there. But at the same time, I put when a professional athlete goes on the field, especially one that to me seems to be such a strong personality, you're not going to tell Kevin Durant what to do, even if you're the general manager of the Golden State Warriors. I feel terrible for Kevin Durant because this whole thing about him being a free agent now this next year, this whole career has been leading right up to this, and he's got options plenty. And I've also said I have a problem feeling bad for people that are making $30 million a year or whatever, but to me, I put the injury more on him. I mean, you feel like he ought to know his body to the point where he would know if he could get out there and play or not, and that any outside pressures coming from management wouldn't be enough to force you to do that. So change my mind.
Phil, this is one of the first conversations where I genuinely disagree with a lot of what you're saying. If you're lauded and put out as either the second best or the first best player in the world, you mentioned the fact that Golden State had won a title without Kevin Durant, and then they've won 2 with Kevin Durant. And it would be one of those factors where if they were to go on and win this year, people would think that, they don't need him. If they won with him, that he wouldn't be needed anyway. There's times where you go to work, and again, we're not in the same profession. There's times that I've come into work sick as a dog, but I didn't want to disappoint Tommy or John and not show up and not be able to come. And I probably shouldn't have done the show that day because I was sick as a dog, but I did it anyway. I'm not going to even touch on the word malpractice here because we can't predict every single type of occurrence that happens with the human body when it comes to what it goes through, participating in sports, what could or could not happen. Now, if he was cleared, which that has been reported by multiple people by Golden State that he was cleared to do that, and the doctors did miss on that, then that's all on them. But, Phil, you feel like you're disappointing your team. This is a team that's back to their, fourth straight finals? Maybe fifth? I'm blanking on that. I should know that. But they're either fourth or fifth straight finals, and they're down 3-1. This is a guy that wants to help his teammates. He got his first championship ever in Golden State. And I know people aren't the biggest fans of him joining the team that knocked him out after he was knocked out in Oklahoma City. But, Phil, this is a competitor. This is a guy that wants to do whatever he can to help his legacy. And if you're cleared by medical, like, I was scared as hell the first time I played basketball after my torn ACL. But Dr. Gordon cleared me. He said, you're okay to play sports. I didn't think I was ready, but he cleared me, and I trusted his judgment. When it comes to a doctor's judgment over mine, and you're always going to doubt yourself coming back after an injury. If I could say injury, good grief. If the doctors cleared him and it wasn't malpractice, I don't know if we can blame Kevin Durant for that. I just don't.
Well, when athletes know their bodies, they know what feels right, what doesn't feel right, and athletes play with pain all the time. What he had, these two injuries, it was an Achilles injury from the start, obviously. That's what knocked him out to begin with. And it just feels like it is such a delicate portion of the body. The Achilles is one of those injuries that takes a good long while to come back from.
Yeah.
And I don't know if the recovery process has improved much over the years, like an ACL injury, Tommy John surgery, these things, which used to, knock you out for a year and a half or 2 years in some cases. You got athletes coming back much quicker from that. Now, I don't know if that's the case about the Achilles. If you're cleared and you still don't feel right, the last word for an athlete to go on the field, and I feel like this for professional sports, collegiate sports, I feel like you're feeling, and it's like comparing you to Kevin Durant about how he would react to his boss or you would react to your boss. It's different when you've made hundreds of millions of dollars. I feel that the pressure from a general manager to an NBA star, I think, is a lot different than the pressure that you'll feel, from Tommy Kraft or another of those situations. It's on the athlete to know when you can and can't play. Doctors can say, yeah, we'll clear you, but when you go onto the court, you got to feel like you are 100% ready to go, and you can't play, so to speak. What is the word? You can't play. You can't play with that thought in the back of your mind. So, hey, I understand. Look, athletes play with pain, and sometimes we're in a culture where we expect them to play with pain, and we laud them for that very manner, And maybe that goes into the decision process of a Kevin Durant too. And you're thinking, well, this is part of my legacy. But still, once an athlete gets on the field, usually to me, and I know there have been situations in the NFL that I think are different. For me and Kevin Durant, I say this one is for him getting on the court. I wish that injury didn't happen to him. And
me too, man.
I also made sure I did not go back and look off of your recommendation.
Probably smart. Tommy just texted me, called it the most expensive injury in the history of sports, with a guy that's potentially going to get the highest max deal an NBA team can offer. He's probably right on that, Phil.
Well, and I saw that he can take a player option now for $30 million and, sit the next season and then go back onto the market again.
Train down there in the Bay. I guess they're moving across or whatever, and then potentially sign a new contract, which I have no idea what he's going to do. Anyone that tells you, whether it's Bucher, Broussard, any NBA insider, other than I think Woj is the one guy that doesn't put anything out there unless he's absolutely 100% sure. I wouldn't trust any NBA insider to this point on what KD's going to do his next chapter until he actually comes out and says it. So,
all right, my last change my mind is that I think it's much easier for a man like me to pack than it is for a lot of other people. And I'm separating not women, people that legitimately care about what they look like for other people. Part of this is, what is the expectation as a society for a man or a woman to look like? It's about what you want to adorn yourself with. What sort of hair you have, or what sort of,
don't have to worry about that.
What sort of clothes you wear. For me, it's Razorback polo shirts, baseball T-shirts, and the same hat for the last basically 19 months.
You and I are kind of cut from the same cloth, Phil, because I get constantly made fun of my attire, and you have your style, I have mine. I am very general. I wear the same probably 6 or 7 T-shirts in my closet: my Cookout T-shirt, my Paradise Park T-shirt, my Whataburger T-shirt, and then a couple Final Four T-shirts. It's very me. Like, no one else wears the style I wear. I'm very unique. Now, no one would associate me with having any sense of style whatsoever, and you and I are, I think, in the same boat on that. You're not going to be lauded as some GQ magazine cover boy, but you're your own unique person. And I don't think there's anything wrong with taking 15 minutes to pack for a 10-day trip. I'd much rather be going on a trip with someone that does that than takes like 2 hours to try and design their entire wardrobe for the week. So,
well, you and I are good radio partners. We'd be good travel partners too.
Yeah, we're not.
In all honesty. So, what do you say we pack the bags and head up the road to Omaha? It's going to take you a little bit longer to do that.
That's not even funny. And I'm assuming those jokes are going to continue throughout the week, out and possibly next week. We'll see what happens. But yeah, those jokes are not only going to come from you, they're going to come from John, and then if Tommy makes his way up there, they're going to come from all three of you. I'm not looking forward to those jokes, but
so did I cut you off from any of your extra change my minds here?
You did. I got one more since we're coming up on a break. So back in 1984, we're both big Larry Bird Boston Celtics fan. Well, back on this day in 1984, June 12th, Game 7, Boston Celtics beat the Los Angeles Lakers.
The Boston Celtics are the NBA World Champions in a grueling 7-game series with the Los Angeles Lakers. The Celtics with the best record in the league.
Congratulations, you were the most valuable player, and I must add that they said you were going to be the MVP if Boston even lost this game tonight. That's how great this series was. What does it mean to Larry?
Well, it means a lot, but there's a lot of players out there still capable of winning the MVP award, Bernard King and Jabbar and some of the others, but right now...
I wish ESPN had put the music under it because the highlight was great, but the point I'm getting to, Phil, is that in Game 7, the Boston AC in the old Boston Garden, not TD Ameritrade Garden down there, but the old Boston Garden, the AC was not working, so the temperature was not great, over 90 degrees in the Boston Garden. Here's my thing you're going to have to change my mind on. Red Auerbach, former coach and former general manager of the Boston Celtics, intentionally did that. Now, there were other things that he did throughout his career. Yes, Phil,
No.
This is one of those NBA conspiracies that I'm not the only one that's been on.
Auerbach would have never done anything like that.
You had Kareem on the oxygen mask. Magic was tired, and it kind of slowed down the Showtime Lakers in Game 7, and Boston was able to prevail. You got to change my mind, Phil.
No, this is the same franchise that was accused of taking hot water out of the visiting locker room.
Which they did. Michael Cooper said they did that.
Right. So they turned the heat up on the court, and they turned the heat down in the shower. So yeah, I'm not going to change your mind. I know this is the fact. This is 100%.
Oh man,
this is one of the things that made the Celtics the Celtics.
Can you imagine if a franchise tried to do something like that today? How incredibly quick to social media and articles, and how fast that would get around, and how. I mean, I'm not going to say the GM or owner would be fired, but they would be reprimanded for sure.
And I know we got to go to a break real quick, but for you, and I wonder what'll change here with Eric Musselman as the head coach. Under Nolan Richardson and under Mike Anderson, they turned the heat up inside Bud Walton Arena, legitimately. I mean, that was part of the strategy, to turn the heat up. I wonder what the case will be with Muss. We ought to ask him about. He never thought that one of the questions would be, when are you going to set the temperature for game time, Coach?
That's probably the one out of the box question that he hasn't had, because we know the number of podcasts, interviews, radio interviews, magazine articles. He's been on so many of those since he arrived at Arkansas. But Phil, I bet you If we ever get him on halftime, that would be the one question since arriving in Arkansas he hasn't been asked. So you get the choice, not the choice. You get the golden honor of asking him that question, Phil.
All right. I also got the honor of sending us to a break. It's halftime. ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
Hold on tight. Missed a segment or interview? Check out the Halftime Pod at hitthatline.com.
The best TV experience in the nation is available locally with personal service from WOW World of Wireless, your neighborhood professional Dish authorized retailer. Dish has the Hopper 3, the most advanced DVR, and delivers a premium viewing experience. Tired of running out of DVR space? With the Hopper 3, you can record up to 2,000 hours of your favorite programming and watch your very own favorite channels and DVR recording anywhere you go on your phone or tablet. Call now, WOW World of Wireless at 877-305-DISH. That's 877-305-3474 for more details. Or stop by our location at the corner of Phoenix and Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith, or visit us online at shopwownow.com. Get the Hopper 3 today by calling WOW World of Wireless at 877-305-DISH. That's 877-305-3474. Or online at shopwownow.com.
Monthly equipment fees and other restrictions apply. Recording hours vary. 2,000 hours based on SD programming. Remote viewing requires internet connection and compatible mobile device.
For almost 70 years, Crabtree RV in Alma has been helping people in the River Valley get out and enjoy the great outdoors. And that tradition continues today with our brand new body shop, a first-class service department, and a friendly staff to help you choose from the top brands in the industry. So put away the devices and get out this summer to enjoy all that the natural state has to offer. With a little help from Crabtree RV in Alma, where your family's dreams come true.
Are you ready to experience that new car smell? At Williams Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Stigler, Oklahoma, we are excited to put you in the driver's seat. Allow us to demonstrate our commitment to our exceptional customer service. Williams Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram sales staff is here to answer your questions related to our inventory, service, parts, financing, and more. See us at 1100 East Main Street or give us a call, 888-893-3130. Open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Supercuts of Rogers is hiring. Supercuts team members take pride in maintaining a positive, professional, and creative workplace. Supercuts team members provide the highest quality for guests by attending training courses at our Hairstylist Academy, as well as ongoing coaching and guidance by renowned Supercuts artistic directors. Supercuts has the highest base pay in the market, including pay time off, commission-based performance pay, great tips, company-sponsored health insurance, and much more. Simply apply online at supercuts.com or contact Joe at 520-203-3416.
Tommy Kraft for the Fence Man. Do you own a business that needs more security? Or maybe you just want a better look and more curb appeal? A new fence from the Fence Man can give you both. In business for more than 40 years, the Fence Man can custom install any type of fencing, gates, controlled access, and card readers. Call the Fence Man for a quick, no obligations quote. 479-782-3936. That's 782-3936. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work.
Does this sound like you?
Or is this more like it?
Or maybe your inner biker sounds like...
No matter what motorcycle motor is music to your ears, Shelter Insurance has a policy that's music to your wallet.
Shelter insures your fun stuff. Motorcycles to riding mowers, ATVs to RVs, bikes to bass boats. If it rides, rolls, or floats, we can cover it. Shelter Insurance. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
Ask Shelter agents Ted McAvoy or Jeff Clark about a free insurance review.
What's up, everybody? This is John Neighbors from the Morning Rush, and the Razorbacks are back in Omaha for the College World Series. We at ESPN 95.3 want you to come watch all the action with us at Joe's Grill and Cantina in Fort Smith. Every Hog game at Joe's will have half-price apps and taps, the game on all their TVs, a great atmosphere, and my personal favorite, all the chips and salsa you can eat. So come watch the Hogs in Omaha this Saturday at Joe's Grill and Cantina at 3400 South 74th Street in Fort Smith. Hogs by 90.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Tye Richardson.
Jack hits a high fly ball to right field. Back goes Servideo. He's at the fence, and that is out of here. Jack Kenley with the 3-run Jack.
Hey, Ty, which navigation app do you use?
Google Maps, man.
I'm a Wazer myself.
You're a Wazer? Okay.
I'm a Wazer.
That's a millennial thing, dude. I'm proud of you, man, honestly.
Generational gap.
That's like a millennial app. Good for you.
It's a generation gap where I guess I'm a little cooler than you. I even have one of those little avatars with a sword and a crown. I mean, I'm in the top 1% of Wazers in the state of Arkansas. I'm marking police. I'm marking, maybe I shouldn't say that publicly. I'm marking things on the road and things on the side of the road. I'm one of the people. I'm getting lots of thumbs up from people. Waze right now tells me it would take 6 hours to drive the 408 miles between XNA Airport and the city of Omaha. And I think usually when you just type in the city's name, they're taking you to the main post office. So that's probably downtown Omaha, right where they're going to take you. Google Maps has me right now at 6 hours and 54 minutes. And they're taking me an extra 30 miles out of the way, I guess. And everybody's going to have to go out of the way. Everybody's going to have to go out of the way because of flooding along the Missouri River. I-29 in Iowa is closed. A good chunk of it is closed. So you're going to have to make a pretty heavy detour out of your way. 35 miles of Interstate 29, which takes you from Kansas City to Omaha, is closed northwest Missouri and southwest Iowa. So there are easy ways to get there still, but you just got to plan probably I'd give it an extra hour, maybe a little bit more.
See, this segment is funny for Phil because his stinking butt's about to get on a charter plane and bypass all the traffic that Fayettevilleans are going to be having, and others, obviously not all the only ones in Fayetteville are going to the game, but other Arkansans are going to have to be making their way through. While Phil, he's not going to be looking over at you because he's heading out today, but he'll think about you when he's passing over the roads, and he's not having to inherit any traffic whatsoever. How fast is it there, bud?
No, I'm not going to be thinking about anybody because I'm going to be fast asleep. As soon as my butt cheeks hit that plane, that seat, I'm out. And this is the airplane that gives us this is funny too. This charter company has a thing with warm cookies and milk for everybody on the plane. They will bring out warm cookies and milk for everybody on the plane, and I'll tell the guy, "Wake me up, please," because that's the way I want to land, with warm cookies and milk, because I'm 5 years old.
Phil's like the dog owner right now that has a treat for his kid, or not his kid, good grief, his puppy, and it's just waving in front of him. That's basically what he's doing with the listeners. He's like, I'm not just flying on a charter plane, y'all. I'm going on a charter plane, and I get milk and cookies brought to me. What's up?
It's like the Eddie Murphy routine about the ice cream man, which I'm sure you've never heard before. I mean, I'm going to have to
generational gap
that halftime homework at some point.
Okay.
And before I go, Ty, because I got to get on the plane, the team is arriving. Your halftime homework for tomorrow is you got to learn about Ricky Henderson.
The boy, the man, the myth, the legend.
What is it that I'm doing?
Are you going to be able to get in 20 minutes of Suits? It's on Amazon Prime, which I know you have.
Suits.
Can you do that for me?
Now that you've mentioned it to me, I will make sure I watch an episode of Suits.
Here's the thing, Phil. I'm only signing the first 20 minutes. The first episode's, I think, about 40, 42 minutes long. I'm going to say that you're going to finish the first episode because you'll be invested in it. But then again, I've been wrong before, so I guess we'll see come tomorrow.
Well, don't be wrong when you talk to Bill King, okay?
I'll do my best.
All right, Bill King and Tye Richardson going through college football, and I'm sure you got some questions for Bill about Vanderbilt and his guy Kumar Rocker on the other side of the bracket. Will we see Arkansas v. Vandy? Who knows? Well, it's Tye and Bill Richardson. I'll be with you tomorrow on Halftime on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
Missed a segment or interview? Check out the Halftime Pod at hitthatline.com.
It's your piece of land, your point of pride, your place of peace and quiet. Your yard means something to you. So mow like you mean business with a professional-grade Gravely zero-turn mower. Gravely means comfort. Gravely means strength. Gravely means cutting precision. Gravely mowers mean business. Gravely, build to mow the distance.
Visit Bush Machine and Tractor, 73010 Street in Fort Smith, or at bushtractor.com.
Joe's Grill and Cantina is the only place to watch the Hogs. Watch every game at Joe's. Enjoy half-price apps and taps during the game. And with TVs all around the restaurant, you'll have a front row seat. Half-price appetizers like brisket nachos, Mexican pizza, 10-layer dip, or Joe's humongous sampler platter. All half price. And all beers on tap are half price. Watch every Hog game at Joe's. Half-price apps and taps during every Hog game at Joe's Grill and Cantina. 3400 South 74th Street across from Harps.
Advanced Mechanical Performance, your premier UTV, off-road, truck, and Jeep repair facility. Whether it's a lift kit, an oil change, or a complete makeover of your machine, go see Cody and the gang at AMP and get it right the first time. These guys know what they're doing and are doing what they know. Advanced Mechanical Performance, 3201 Wheeler Avenue in Fort Smith. Call them today at 434-4161.
True Grit Running Company is where perseverance meets passion. Whether you're training for your next marathon or just comfortable shoes to keep up with your kids, we have the gear to help you reach your goals. With our slow motion gait analysis and our extensive product knowledge, we have the right pair of shoes for you. We also carry apparel, nutrition, hydration accessories, injury prevention gear, and recovery products. We offer classes, workshops, and group runs. Lace up, show up, and get your grit on. True Grit Running Company, 6808 Rogers Avenue, Suite B, behind Chick-fil-A.
Have you been thinking about new windows or vinyl siding for your home? Then think Superior Siding and Windows. Superior Siding and Windows has been offering low-maintenance, energy-efficient products in the River Valley for over 40 years. Superior Siding and Windows also specializes in sunrooms, patio covers for carports, and much more. Call 646-7888 for a free in-home estimate. Superior Siding and Windows, 646-7888. Superior Siding and Windows. Look for us in the Yellow Pages and like us on Facebook.
Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One is a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Tye Richardson.
There's a drive, right center field, way back it goes. You gotta get out of here. Into the video board. Matt Goodhart with a 2-run homer, and the Hogs are blowing out Ole Miss.
So I'm not going to call Bill Keene a prophet, but he did tell me and Phil early on, before the baseball season began, about a guy named Kumar Rocker, pitcher for Vanderbilt, was a projected top 5 pick, elected to come back to school. His mom really wanted him to come back to school. Bill, he threw a no-hitter against Duke as a true freshman, which has never happened in a super regional. How about that?
In a do-or-die situation. They were routed the night before on, what was it, Friday night, 18-5. So one went away, and boy, that was an incredible. What was amazing is he obviously, we were just talking, he hit 97 on the gun in the 9th inning, well over 100 pitches. I think he threw 119, but it was somewhere around 110, 115. He hit 97. And he's got more than that, but his pitch was an incredible curveball. That was the wipeout pitch that he had. And you know, it was interesting, not to get too far off track here, but when Duke played Vanderbilt in that Rocker game, the pitcher on the other side, and I saw Rocker first in 7th grade, the pitcher, Bryce Jarvis, for Duke, who just before that had blanked West Virginia 4-0, and has the best changeup maybe in America in college ball. He's not a power guy. I saw when he was in 3rd grade. I don't know if you remember Kevin Jarvis, the pro pitcher, MLB pitcher, but that's his kid, and they live here too. So both those guys on the mound at Vanderbilt in that do-or-die Saturday night, I saw when they were children. It was incredible.
That's like thinking about when you were watching the Little Leagues World Series and you see guys like Cody Bellinger and others. You remember, right. Hey, I watched him when he was in middle school, and then them doing what they're doing in the majors.
It's amazing.
In the college level. It's crazy how good they were then and how good they are now. And Phil, let's, I guess, stick with Vanderbilt. So Vanderbilt and Arkansas right now are tied for the best chance to win the College World Series. And according to certain, I think it's Caesars that has them at the top of the list, which was interesting before the season. Arkansas, I believe, was 20-1 out there, and now their odds have shrunk. I think that would be a great College World Series final. But for just the overall college baseball fan, two Southeastern Conference teams, I don't know if that's the best for ratings-wise. Do you think a Vanderbilt-Arkansas potential College World Series final would just be good for college baseball?
Didn't we have LSU Florida recently? We've
ago.
had this happen.
2 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm biased. It wouldn't bother me. Matter of fact, I'd like it. I'm a Southeastern guy. But, yeah, I mean, we get some bellyache, but it's not like football. It doesn't have the following like that. So let's put it this way. They're not going to cancel the BCS and go to the playoffs over that. How about that?
That's true. Yeah, that's true. And that would make it, you think about it, Bill, I know Auburn didn't make it to the national championship last year because of the Virginia stuff, but the Auburn being a Final Four team, you have Alabama being in the national championship for football, and then if you had, it's my guess, I don't think that on the other side of the bracket that 3 SEC teams are going to come down. I think, and Louisville's on the other side. I'd be surprised if Louisville came out of that side of the bracket. But Bill, you would have an SEC in the an SEC team in the Final Four, an SEC in the College Football Playoff National Championship, and like 99% sure you're going to have an SEC team in college baseball in the College World Series final. We always think of this school as a football school or as a football conference, but the SEC baseball, Phil and I always talk about, it's better. But to go across the 3 sports like that, that's got to make other conferences envious, the fact the SEC has been dominant in these 3 major sports so far this year.
Well, and let's face it, the Pac-12 is really out of sight, out of mind in football right now. Basketball is not good. What'd they get, 2 bids? Some thought they would only get 1. They got 2 bids in the NCAA tournament. UCLA, the top seed, didn't make it. They got beat by Michigan, which is probably still snowing in Michigan right now, right? So, yeah, it's interesting. I tell you, and I know we didn't mean to go in this direction, but I'll give you something quickly. I don't know what's going on, although I've watched them, but the hottest team right now is a team that wasn't very good and wasn't even sure they were going to get in the tournament. That's Florida State. That they've gone to Georgia and LSU and taken them out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that with Mike Martin being his last year, he's been to umpteenth College World Series. He's the media darling that's getting most of the focus on Saturday night when they play Arkansas. And Bill, that's one of the questions I opened up with Phil in the first segment. Does it worry him at all, the fact that Arkansas is playing the quote-unquote Cinderella team first off in this tournament? I think Florida State has to be it, right?
Correct. Oh, no question. He's never won it. He's been to 40 straight tournaments, quote, but he's never won it, ever. So I'm sure there's going to be a lot of media around that, I would think.
So we had Norm DeBryan on yesterday, talking with Bill Keene, Nashville Sports Radio here on Halftime. We had Norm DeBryan on yesterday, who's the former head baseball coach at Arkansas, Bill, and I asked him about playing in both Rosenblatt Stadium and then getting to see teams in the College World Series now at the new TD Ameritrade Park, which it's not that new, but it's relatively new compared to Rosenblatt. I know you've gone to college basketball national championship, college football. I think you've been to college baseball too, but have you gotten a chance to go out to TD Ameritrade yet since its inception?
No. I went to, it was when Oregon State was winning back-to-back. I think it was 06, 07, might have been 07, 08, but somewhere in there. We went 07, took a serious show out there, and it was at Rosenblatt Stadium. What's so cool is it's kind of in a neighborhood, Rosenblatt was, and these houses would have these tents up, and they would sell collegiate attire and caps and apparel and what have you. It's pretty neat. And what's the other thing, Ty, about this tournament? It's long as heck. It's almost 2 weeks long, and there are days when there's not a game. So I'd be sitting in the parking lot there, where nobody was, blazing sun out in Omaha, middle of June, right? It's 108 degrees, no wind at all, maybe some tumbleweed, doing a show in an empty parking lot when there weren't games. It was the strangest thing. But no, I know where TD Ameritrade is. It's right over there where Creighton plays basketball. It's in downtown Omaha. Omaha's an easy city to move around, as you know, but I've never been. No.
So I got a chance to go back in 2015. I think I was a sophomore, junior at the time. Arkansas kind of went on a magical run, beat Missouri State, who unfortunately had to play on the road in Fayetteville, even as the higher seed. But they had a minor league team that was scheduled at the time, so they had to come to Fayetteville. Omaha's it's a cool experience, and football's third on me for the pecking order. But it was I keep saying that, Bill. I'm used to doing a show with Phil 5 days a week, so I keep saying that. You guys have the same names. Bill, one of the things I was talking with Phil a little bit about earlier is Arkansas. You mentioned Oregon State, so I thought about this. With Oregon State doing what it did to Arkansas last year, Arkansas being 1 out away, and we all knew they blew it, there's a perception that I think the Arkansas fan base has when it comes to tight ball games or games revolving around championships, stuff that they could have won or not. I know the Sterner fumble is one, the 98, that people still agonize over to this day. You as a national guy, I know you're more SEC Central based. Does Arkansas have the perception in any of the major sports of not being able to put games away and not being able to finish?
No, I think that's a local thing. I don't think anybody discusses that outside of probably inside your state. Yeah, maybe some baseball show somewhere brings it up. Maybe in Baton Rouge, because you could call that maybe the college baseball capital of the world.
Mm-hmm.
But no, that's not a thing.
See, I didn't think it was either, and I know that's the perception from the Arkansas fan base because let's be real, they've gone through some dramatic things. You think about, I mentioned the Sterner fumble. You think about they had a chance to repeat in 95, weren't able to do that, and then probably the most agonizing was, I would say, probably maybe, and I wasn't around for it, obviously, 69 against Texas when they had that game, or this past year against Oregon State, but that's just the perception. I think that's a local thing, as you mentioned, so it's one of those things. There was an article that came out from ESPN yesterday. It was Myron Metcalf, Joe Lunardi, and Jeff Borzillo, and they were talking about just overcoming the Giants, former head coaches, and that being Nolan Richardson. Can they get back to that level of prominence that Arkansas once was in its basketball program? And I believe it was Myron Metcalf that thought and had the opinion of that if Nolan was given an opportunity to continue before he was fired, he was given another stint and kept going, he thought that he could have turned the program around when he was still at Arkansas. I know you have a great deal of respect for Nolan. You've gotten a chance to talk with him a little bit, and you loved watching Arkansas basketball. Do you think if Nolan Richardson was, say, given, 10 or so more years where he was kept at Arkansas, do you think he could have got another run going here in Fayetteville?
My hunch is no. I think, and not just because all the relationships were sour and the way it ended, but the basketball had eroded. It wasn't what it was. And now Bear Bryant, let's go back in history. Bear Bryant went 7-8 years. He went 0-7-1 over an 8-year period. Then he won a bowl game. Late 60s, early 70s. Then he won 2 national championships on the tail end there. So he got it back. Now, regardless of what happened off the field, Joe Paterno actually kind of got it turned back around after some tough times. Bobby Bowden was not able to do that. It eroded on him. I don't think Nolan Richardson would have brought it back. And when I say it, I'm talking about 40 minutes of hell where I'm watching Dwight Stewart, Corey Beck, Corliss Williamson, that group. I don't think those days were going to return.
I love that you know all those names, Bill. That just brings me back to memory lane. I wasn't a part of.
Good times there, man.
I wasn't a part of it physically, but I feel like as spiritually as I was there, just watching all those highlights, watching as much game field, and just feeling the emotions from the Arkansas fan base. Man, that was time. All right, Bill, let's jump back into Omaha real quick. Heading into this weekend, I know that Vandy has a really good baseball team. They've been good all year. They've lived up to the hype. They've lived up to expectation. Looks like Rocker's starting to come around with that no-hitter. Are you taking them in the College World Series this weekend, or do you have someone else on your mind?
Okay, I'm being unprofessional. I'm pulling for them, but I'm worried about something. That they probably got the best bats top to bottom in the World Series. Most consistent, up and down that lineup, they hit. And they hit for power. But I think the starting pitching is being exposed. And now Rocker is fine. Obviously, Mason Hickman is another one of their starters. He's been okay. Outside of that, Patrick Reeby, that group, they're not pitching well right now. And I don't know if I believe or I think that Vanderbilt's got enough starting pitching to be the last team standing. I'm a doubter right now when it comes to that.
Well, I hope you're right, and I hope Arkansas is the one to overcome them. But I guess we'll see in these next 2 weeks, right, man? Bill Keene, always kind enough to join us on a Wednesday here on Halftime. Bill, I guess we'll talk to you next week, and we'll see what happens after this weekend.
Thanks, guys. All right, bye.
All right, we're brought to you in part here on Halftime by Rhodes Chevrolet. For over 80 years, Rhodes Chevrolet is a name you can trust. Rhodes has always been dependable in the car buying process and the car owning experience. From the time you walk into the showroom, you're treated like family. And that's what you want in a car dealership. You want to be able to walk in, be greeted, be shown the right way, be shown the car you want for the price you want, and you're going to get that at Rhodes Chevrolet. It's a family-owned dealership, and they have a great service department that's served the River Valley for over 8 decades. It's dependable. You want to find a dependable vehicle. Trust me, I've had one that isn't. It's not fun when you have to pay over $5,000 in repairs for a vehicle. I don't miss my old car. I love my new one. So just think about that. 2800 Alma Highway in Van Buren, or you can find them online at RhodesChevy.com. They've been dependable since 1934. All right, on the other side, we'll get into the last segment here on Halftime. There's a place you need to watch the game this weekend. Saturday night, Florida State, 6 p.m. Going to tell you about it next. ESPN Arkansas. HitThatLine.com.
Missed a segment or interview? Check out the Halftime Pod at HitThatLine.com.
The Big Ten is up, and the prices are falling at Jelco Outdoors, 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith. Now through Saturday, save 50 to 75% off clearance clothing, footwear, hunting and fishing gear, and all the equipment under the Big Tent. Great gift ideas for Father's Day throughout the store, with hundreds of items for that special dad. Don't miss the big Father's Day tent sale this week at Jelco Outdoors, 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith.
At Frankfurt Furniture, we believe in supporting our country, and we want to invite you to shop our Made in the USA brands, like Jackson, Catnapper, Best Home Furnishings, Medlift, and Union Furniture made right here in Fort Smith, Arkansas. Check out our Justice mattresses and our Kingdom mattresses, also made in Fort Smith, Arkansas. 100% made in the USA Speed Clean washers and dryers. We have them. Tell us you heard this commercial and receive free delivery. Frankfurt Furniture, best seats in the house. Your Made in the USA headquarters.
Is your home at least 10 years old and served by OG&E? OG&E is offering Arkansas customers a free weatherization program to increase your comfort and lower your bills. A trained crew will perform an energy audit at no cost to you, and if your home qualifies, our crews will install measures that will save you money. The services provided through this program are absolutely free to qualifying homes. If you could benefit from free home weatherization improvements, call OG&E at 1-800-272-9741. That's 1-800-272-9741.
You know, a night out with friends can be so much more. Upgrade your evening at 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge on the Avenue. Rediscover life's simple pleasures. Dial back, slow down, and immerse yourself in